Hello, guys. Welcome to my Taylor Swift Notion page, which is essentially a Notion page that lists down all of her albums, as you see here, as well as all the songs belonging to those albums. So this does not include yet any of the other songs that has not been released as part of any album, but the main purpose is that for us to have like a database where we can see what are each of the songs in these albums and that we could basically rate them based on the following criteria that we have here. So I've already done a sample for mine, which is because I do have a video that has already been released that caters to how it was, let's say, analyzed and ranked in terms of the lyrics. So we have here already those given values right here. And if you go to the page, you can see that there is also an analysis, which is part of the review that I've done in one of the videos that I had in this channel, and as well as the lyrics that it has. So the main purpose of this is for us to have like a Notion page where we could share our analysis for each of the Taylor Swift songs, as well as the ratings based on lyrics, melody, relatability rating, and of course having the overall computed based on these three, and then what probably is the best lyrics for you. So my goal is, if this kicks off, because right now this is a personal Notion page for me, I could share it either as a template or like a community where we could start building it up, like an overall rating for each of the songs, having a page for each of the analysis for each of the individual person who would like to contribute, similar to how Goodreads work. So that's the main purpose. Anyway, the main purpose of this video is to basically use this Notion template that I had to, let's say, rank the Lover songs that we have right here. So let me just open the page for Lover, which is this one. So if you open the album, the idea is that we will have like a song gallery here where you can basically see a gallery of all of the songs that is part of Lover or part of the album that you're looking into. And then here it will show the overall rating based on the three criteria that we mentioned earlier. So for this one, there is no rating yet because that's what we're going to do in this video. And then you will also have like a track list view right here where if you do not want to see the gallery or the pictures for the album, you can just basically use this as like a database where you could easily rank all of them. But for the purpose of this video, I think because the song gallery looks better, we will use that to rank each of the individual songs. And by ranking, I mean because there is also a view right here which basically sorts from the Notion page itself what is the, let's say, top song from the album based on how we did the rating for each of those. So later, once we've done all of the rankings or rating rather, we would be seeing what is our top song from the album based on the overall rating that we get here, and that was basically provides us how each of the songs rank for us for the Lover album, or for me basically, because this is gonna be my ranking, and you can do the same once I've shared the Notion page. So just give it a like or subscribe if you want to have this shared across the let's say the viewers or whoever is interested. You can also comment and I could share this to you so you could also use it. So let's start now with the actual ranking or rating of each of the songs. So of course, let's start with track one, which is I Forgot That You Existed. So it's not one of her best, let's say, track one songs in the albums that she had across her discography, but it's not something that I also don't like. So contrary to most of, let's say, the opinions that I get for I Forgot That You Existed, it's also one of the songs that most Swifties would say they forgot that it existed, right? But for me, it's actually just fine. I like, in particular, the melody of this one. So I would say I'd give it a 4 for melody. And for the lyrics, it's not as powerful as how it should be from a lyric perspective based on how Taylor Swift normally writes. It's just straightforward. I'm not seeing any, let's say, line in particular that I also kind of like. So I'll give it a 3 for that because it's not for me, it's not bad. It's just like it's just a 3 basically for that case. And in terms of relatability, it's just a 2 for me because it's not something that I relate to normally or I relate to exactly. So, and it's not a song that I would also constantly listen to. So, that is how I would rate it. So, in terms of overall rating, I guess the average would be 3 based on the uh, list or the criteria that we have here. So, I don't think that's bad. That's perfectly fine that we have here. Right. So, that gives us a 3 for I forgot that you existed. And then let me just check if the ranking here is actually being updated. So yes. So overall, since this is the only one with a value, it is updated in the list. So at least the logic for the for this Notion page work. Okay, now let's go to Cruel Summer. So Cruel Summer has been one of the latest singles that Taylor Swift has released. And we Swifties have been requesting for this one to be released as a single because technically when it was first released last August 2019, this has been a fan favorite and it's always been one of the best songs from Lover, if not Lover, the entire Taylor Swift discography. And it's also one of my most favorite Taylor Swift songs. So there is a clash between which is my top one favorite Taylor Swift songs, and both of them are actually in Lover. So I would say, from a lyrics perspective, I would give this a 4, in essence, because I would say that objectively, there's still a how do I call this? There's still other songs that has a 5 from a lyric standpoint. Most of them would probably be from Folklore and Evermore, or some from Speak Now, I would say. But uh, in terms of how it was written by Taylor, it's also not that, let's say, it's not a 3. So it's just a balance between 3 and 5. And I would give that a 4 if you get what I mean. And then in terms of a melody, I'd give this a 5 because it's a song that I would constantly listen to. I even if I have other albums, or Taylor Swift rather has other albums already after Lover, Cruel Summer has remained to be in my playlist. It has always been one of the top songs that I was playing. Even until now, this 2023, it's still being played. Not because it's already released as a single, but because it is really a good song. So I would say, from a melody standpoint, it's very catchy. That's why it has been a fan favorite. And in terms of relatability, I don't, let's say, in particular, relate to the context of the song that much in terms of having maybe a summer fling or being summer love in essence. But the idea of, like, being scared, falling in love because you're not sure of how it will go, but in the end, you'd still do it, is something that is a bit relatable. So I would say I'd give it a 4 in essence, because there are other songs that I really don't relate to from a Taylor Swift discography, but this one in particular is something that I can really vibe into in terms of imagining the scenario that's being told in the song, and maybe even relating to that on a level that I would give it a 4 stars. So that's what we have right there. So it's 4.33 for Cruel Summer. Then for Lover, of course, the single that we have and the title of the album, I would say from a lyric standpoint, this is just, uh, I would say it's a 4. I don't have any strong feelings for Lover as a song. I kind of like it when it was first released, but it's not something that I would always listen to, or like sometimes I do skip it when I listen to Lover album. So I would say in terms of melody, it's just 3. And in terms of relatability, for me, it's just a 3. So this is what I have for Lover. And then The Man, of course, from a lyric standpoint, this is also a 4. Because, yeah, the hit in terms of comparing how the world is reacting if you're a man versus a woman is a good, let's say, lyrical writing in terms of this one, the samples that was provided. But um, I don't know. In particular, it's not something also that I always listen to or would relate to as much. So again, I would probably give this a 3 terms of melody, and I would give it another 3 for relatability. Although I would say that most of us women would probably relate to it based on how Taylor is, let's say, describing it in that aspect. But I don't know. It's not something that I would, in particular, really listen to because I relate to it or I vibe with it. So I will give it like that. Honestly, sorry. Talking about what I just said, I think it's also just going to be a bit uh, of a three, rather. So let me take that back from a lyric standpoint because still there are other Taylor Swift songs that I particularly like more than The Man from a lyrical standpoint. So I would say that's just a three. And then The Archer. So The Archer has been, let's say, been been compared most in terms of lyrical aspect to Folklore and Evermore, but I don't know. It's not a song that I like in particular. So I think I rarely listen to this song, or if not at all. So I would say from a lyrical standpoint, I objectively, right, based on how Taylor has written it, it's a four. From a melody, I would say it's just a two for me because I don't know. I don't enjoy its melody. I don't particularly like listening to it. In terms of relatability, it's probably a three. So overall, it's just right. Let's say not an average song from a Taylor Swift perspective for me. Right. I understand how it's good for most Swifties, but it's just not a song that's for me. Okay. So I think he knows. Yeah, I would say for this one, I'd give it a three from a lyrics perspective. Melody is a four. It's quite catchy, and it's easy to dive into to dance to. I guess in terms of relatability, it's just a three for me. So that's the rating for that. Miss Americana is a four from a lyric perspective. From a melody is also a four for me. I don't know. I like the part where Taylor had made, let's say, a reference to the "Go Fight, Win" um, tagline or cheer. Uh, and that part of the bridge is also something that I always listen to. So, in terms of relatability, it's just a three for me, but it's one of the songs that I would always listen to from a lover standpoint. Like it's I always listen to Cruel Summer and I always also listen to Miss Americana. So it's one of my favorite from the album. It's also one of my favorite songs from her discography. So that's how I would rate it. But in terms of being, let's say, objective about it, this would be the rating for each of those criteria. And then we go to Paper Rings. So from Paper Rings, I would say it's still a three from a lyric standpoint. Melody is a four for this one because it's very catchy. It's something that you can dance to and sing to always. It's also nice to listen to, but I guess for me it's also not that relatable. So I don't particularly listen to it all the time. So that's how I rate it. Then we have Cornelia Street. So tied with Cruel Summer, this is one of the top one songs that I have. So I'm still not or haven't decided yet which I like more. Is it Cornelia Street? Is it Cruel Summer? Maybe based on this one, we would get it. From a lyric standpoint, I would say it's a five because Cornelia Street has really gotten that, let's say, how it was written gives you really a clear picture of being able to fall in love and being afraid to lose that person. And that imagery that I always see with Cornelia Street as it plays is really something that's vivid in my head. So I would say Taylor has really done a great job in terms of lyrical writing for this one. Melody also, I would say it's four. Uh, the melody of this one matches the lyrics pretty well. That it gives you the emotion that it's supposed to be making you feel. And in terms of relatability, I would say this is a five for me. So I guess this is a 4.67 rating that might be higher than Cruel Summer. So I guess from this, objectively, we would say Cornelia Street is the top one for me. But there is a missing rating right here, right? It's missing the personal aspect of it. So I would say this does not really cater to my personal preference. I would say it's still tied between Cruel Summer and Cornelia Street. It's just that um, from an objective standpoint, I would say Cornelia Street is better than Cruel Summer based on how the criteria is from this rating that we're doing right now. Death by a Thousand Cuts is also similar to Cornelia Street. It's also one of my most listened to Taylor Swift songs. Um, so I would say in terms of lyrics, hands down, Death by a Thousand Cuts is a 5. It's one of the most gut-wrenching bridges that Taylor Swift has ever written. So I would say that's also 5 from uh, a bridge and a melody perspective. And in terms of relatability, wow, I would say it's 5 also. So wow, Death by a Thousand Cuts objectively would be that Taylor Swift song for me. So that's 555, even higher than Cornelia Street or Cruel Summer. But in my personal ranking, it's just third or even a bit lower. I can't remember. But it's from an objective standpoint, I would say it's a perfect 5. Maybe once we do the, let's say, deep dive analysis for each of the songs, some of the ratings would basically change. But I think Death by a Thousand Cuts is really one of the best Taylor Swift songs. So I would give it a 5. I can relate to it. I can feel the emotions. I would listen to it because of its melody. And of course, the lyrics are so good that, I think it deserves a 5 out of 5. For London Boy, lyrics is just a 3. For me, it's very straightforward. Taylor's basically just taking you to all of the different places in London, describing how she likes to be with the London boy. But from a melody standpoint, I would give it a 5, maybe a 5. Yeah, because it's one of the lover songs that I like to listen to also along with Cruel Summer, Cornelia Street, and Death by a Thousand Cuts plus Miss Americana. It's like what I listen to the most in the Lover album. So because of the melody, it's catchy. It's pretty much fun to just sing it and want a London boy with you. In terms of relatability, I'd give it a 4. So yeah, that's how I would rank that. Soon you'll get better. Is something very emotional, right? I don't think I could rank it or give it a ranking that's a bit higher because I couldn't listen to it because of how it is. You know what it means. You know that already, right? So, melody I would say is a 3. Relatability is like a 3 for me. So I don't ever want to relate to Soon You'll Get Better. So I would say that's how I would place it. And then False God. So, uh, I know a lot of people also rank False God a bit higher, or would say it's underrated. But I don't know. It's from a lyric standpoint, it's just a 3. From a melody standpoint, for me, it's also just a 3. And from a relatability standpoint, it's also just a 3 for me. It's not like one of the songs that I would constantly listen to. I don't like. Maybe it's because of the melody that I get thrown off of actually trying to listen further to the lyrics. But maybe I could give it a chance once we do the deep dive for each of these songs. You Need to Calm Down, of course. I don't know. It's also just a 3. Melody is just a 3. I would say it's catchy. It's not the type of melody that I would like to listen to. In terms of relatability, it's just a 2. Uh, yeah. So no, not in particular something that I would also like to listen to. And then Afterglow, in terms of lyrics, I would say that's a 4. Melody is a 3 for me. It's being compared oftentimes with the Great War. The Great War is something that I would rank a bit higher and way, way beyond Afterglow. But maybe it's because of the melody. It's not a melody that I particularly like. And in terms of relatability, for some reason, I could rate the Great War a bit more higher. But I guess in terms of how Afterglow was written or how it is in terms of the imagery that it builds in my head, it's not something in particular that I relate to. So if that made sense. So that's how I would put it. And then me, so of course a lot of people do not like me, but I think that it's getting unnecessary hate because it's something that I do like. From a melody standpoint, it's a 4. In terms of lyrics, I would say it's a 3. And in terms of um relatability, it's also a 3. But from a melody perspective, I'm ranking it a bit high. It's something that I can listen to even though I don't particularly relate to it as much. But it's fun to listen to. It's fun to jive with it compared to You Need to Calm Down. Some if between those two singles, right? It's nice to have a friend. It's a 3 from a lyrics. Melody is a 2. I don't really get what Taylor was trying to do here, but it's not something that I could listen to, and it's also uh, 3 in terms of relatability. Then, of course, we have Daylight, which is the closing track for Lover, which is from a lyric standpoint, it's a 4. Melody, it's just a 3 for me. It's supposed to be from a lyric standpoint. For me, one of the, let's say, top songs that you would listen to in Lover. But because of the melody, I don't quite listen to it as much as I do with the other songs. So, relatability, I would say it's 4. So that's how I would rank Daylight. Okay. So based on this one, now that we've rated all of the Taylor Swift songs from Lover based on the criteria that I had, we can check the ranking right here. So as you can see, and what we got, because Death by a Thousand Cuts was the only one I ranked 5. Sorry, I rated 5 over 5. So that's the top one right here. We have Cornelia Street, Cruel Summer, London Boy. And honestly, in my playlist, these are the top 4 that I listen to, plus Miss Americana, which is tied with Daylight. So it does make sense in terms of my personal preferences. What I listen to the most in the Lover album. We have Me. Yeah, for me, it's really ranked high. I don't particularly know why. I'm not gonna defend myself why I like it in particular, but in essence, it's still tied with quite a few songs right here. So, all the way until Lover, right? So it's tied with Afterglow, When You'll Get Better, Paper Rings, I Think He Knows, and Lover. Um, and then we have False God, The Archer, The Man, I Forgot That You Existed, It's Nice to Have a Friend, and You Need to Calm Down, which makes sense for me because I don't really particularly like these two songs. So yeah, that's basically it. So if you like this Notion page and if you want to have it as a template, subscribe, like, and comment below if you want to have it. So probably in the next video, I either teach you how I made this template, and then I'll also link up a view page in the description where you can actually go to the page and see all of the rankings that we just did. And for the succeeding videos, I'll also be doing like an in-depth analysis of each of the songs that we have here. Right. So thank you, everyone. Bye.